walloped
To the 20, the 10, the 5, the 30. Rosalie Jack Sam was caught at the 30.
Julio Humphrey.
Deliver body blow after body blow after body blow. The team just wants to absolutely beat you up.
There are threats all over the field for these Georgia Bulldogs.
You're listening to Between the Hedges podcast with your hosts, Russ and Lisa.
Thank you, Gary. Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday, and man, do we have a great show in store for you all today. We've got some great topics that we're going to discuss on this episode of Between the Hedges podcast. From Delp and McConkey stepping up to Stackhouse gets his Brock Bowers moments. We have all this and more on today's episode of Between the Hedges.
Between the Hedges is brought to you by
Dogs and More isn't your normal hot dog stand. Dogs and More serves gourmet hot dogs, hamburgers, and grilled cheese. Also, their floats are no joke either. They are located in Ringen, Georgia. Go to our website and under sponsors click Dogs and More. Believe me, their dogs are off the leash.
Good morning, Between the Hedges fans. Happy Monday. How are you doing today, Lisa?
I'm doing good, Russ. How are you?
I'm doing good. I had a great day Saturday.
I know it was a good day, wasn't it?
I hope you all had a great day Saturday, because if you didn't, then you were not watching the same game we were.
It was so nice to be able to hang with you and Betty this weekend.
It was fun. We'll have to do it again.
Maybe we can do the Ole Miss game.
Definitely, I will check with Betty and see, but I don't see why it wouldn't work out. Well, I hope you fans had a great weekend, and if you guys missed the game, we're going to talk about some great highlights today.
Plus, I believe we're going to talk about Stackhouse and other key players in that game too, right?
Yes, we are. So if you're a first-time listener, we are welcoming you. We ask you to please click that follow button, and don't forget to turn that notification on so that you can be kept up to date on all the latest and greatest on Between the Hedges podcast.
Yes, and if you are one of our loyal listeners, we thank you again for tuning in to this episode of Between the Hedges podcast. We thank you for your continued support, and we ask that you please check out our website. The information is in the podcast description below.
Yes, and remember, you can send us a message through our website as well, too, and you can even call us at 706-389-0770.
Don't forget, we are also on Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube as well.
Yes, and we want to hear from you all about what we talk about on the podcast. I'm so excited, Lisa. Let's get this podcast started.
Sure thing, Russ. Here we go.
Really big on getting the core of your team from high school, developing them the right way, and it really boils down to who you bring in your organization. Because if they come in looking to lead, or they come in expecting to only play as a freshman and have it easy, then we probably recruited the wrong guy.
Welcome back, Between the Hedges podcast fans. We're going to be talking about Oscar Delp, Lad McConkey step up once again for the Georgia football offense this past Saturday against Ms. Who?
I saw that someone was calling them that, and I thought that was the funniest thing ever.
Yeah, I saw that too, and so I just thought I had to share it. It was hilarious. But anyway, overall, I thought that Delp and McConkey did a great job. I mean, Brock Bowers.
You mean Bowser?
No, I said Brock Bowers. He still leads Georgia in touchdown catches this season. Although, if he doesn't come back soon, he may not be leading the Georgia tight ends in touchdown receptions anymore. Oscar Delp caught his third touchdown of the season, pulling in a 5-yard pass from Carson Beck at a key junction in the game. With Georgia holding a 17-13 lead, Delp made a sliding grab to extend Georgia's lead to 24-13.
That was definitely a Bowers move.
I agree. That touchdown catch gave us some breathing room in a game that I feel we were much in need of.
Yeah, I felt that way too.
Delp was actually quoted saying that Carson saw the defender out in front of him, and he had a perfect ball placement, so he made the catch look harder than it was. He threw a perfect ball, and I just went out and got it right where the defender couldn't get it. Delp was really fired up after the score, a change from what I feel he normally has, which is a cool demeanor. Maybe I'm just imagining it, though.
No, I agree with you. He didn't look like the normal Delp out there.
I'll tell you who else caught my eye in that game, and that was Lovett. I wonder how it felt for him to be making all these great plays when he was a former Missouri wide receiver.
I know that with Georgia scoring 27 points on his 5 trips inside the Missouri's 20-yard line was very much needed. I'm sure the Missouri team felt he was no longer a Missouri Tiger, but a Bulldog.
I could agree with you on that. That play was very much needed altogether. I felt that also considering how much Beck got sacked by the Missouri defense, he still felt like he was very cool under pressure. I mean, he finished the game with 21 out of 32 for 254 yards, for the second consecutive game, by the way, too. Overall, I felt that Beck performed rather well despite all the sacks.
Right? I'll tell you someone else who couldn't say the same thing as Beck.
Who?
Brady Cook. He threw 2 interceptions in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I think Delp finished with 3 receptions for 33 yards. Coach Kirby Smart said that great kid, great competitor, blocks his tail off, works hard, made some catches down the field today. That's what we recruited him. Oscar's a great football player.
Well, the touchdown pass to Delp was the second of Georgia's 4 second-half scoring drives. So you could say they were playing some great football.
Yeah, after having back-to-back 3 and outs to end the first half, the Bulldogs scored on each of their first 4 drives of the second half before getting success on running out the clock, which they did really well, too.
Well, didn't you notice that the commentator said that clock management was something that Beck was really well at utilizing in the games?
Yeah, I noticed that they did say that as well, too. I feel that Beck may have not been sacked as much if they would have had Bowers, though.
What makes you say that?
Well, if you think about it, the players knew that without Bowers being out there, that Beck would have had to focus on their key players to throw the ball at. So therefore, while he was trying to find other players to throw the ball, his mind wasn't focused on the blitzes and the sacks. So therefore, they were able to get to him a lot more. If Bowers had been out there, they would have been focusing on Bowers not catching the ball, and they wouldn't have had to focus on Beck, which would have ultimately given him a better opportunity to throw the ball. So you can kind of see how that works out in that favor for the defense. When one key player is out, that it does take a team effort to definitely win a football game.
I could see how that would be effective, especially if you consider how many times that Beck did get sacked.
Well, if you notice, Beck was sacked 3 times in that game. Now, he had only taken 5 sacks in the previous 8 games. Georgia definitely couldn't seem to get their pass catchers open either. That was a definite issue with the Georgia offense, and even Kirby Smart mentioned that prior to going into the locker at the halftime.
Right, but thankfully they had McConkey out there. He was a game changer.
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, he led the Bulldogs in receiving, catching 7 passes for 95 yards. That's a big difference. It also helped that Beck improved over the course of the final 30 minutes, too.
You could almost say that Mike Bobo had plenty of options open for the players in the second half.
Yeah, I don't want to admit to that. You know how me and Bobo, we have a history together, especially if any Georgia Bulldog fan has been following them as long as I have. I know that Smart did mention that Georgia does have skilled players on offense. He also said that Georgia didn't win all that often in our first and second down, forcing Georgia into some less than ideal third down distances. Georgia's average third down was 7.6 yards to go, and the Bulldogs unfortunately went 0 for 5 on third down longer than 9 yards.
Yeah, but Delp's touchdown catch was one of 6 third down conversions for Georgia. You know that Beck was a good reason that happened.
Yes, those 2 were really on point in that game. Despite Beck's sacks, I felt he played really well. Coach Kirby Smart even said it. He was quoted saying, "I always had a lot of confidence in Carson. All the things he's doing now, he did them in our practices. He did it against a 2021 defense that may have been one of the top 3 defenses ever. And he did it every day out there. And he would go against those guys, and they were like, man, this guy ain't flinching. I've seen all these things before." Overall, I really felt that Beck did astonishingly well, considering that he was going up against the number 1 sack defense in the country. Missouri, I mentioned it Friday. I told you they were going to come hard. They were not going to let up. And sure enough, the first sack, I knew it. I said, my goodness, I can't believe that I was right about this, because I really was hoping I would have been wrong. I was hoping the offensive line would have been able to seize the gaps, watch the blitzes, and been able to prevent it from happening. But unfortunately, when you're that dominating on a defensive team, you just have your stuff together and you just come at them, and that's what they did. But overall, I felt that we made a huge impact on the college football world.
Yeah, but you wouldn't hear that if you listened to them commentators talk about us over the weekend. You would have thought that we played the worst game ever.
You know that we're always the most undercredited team ever. It don't make a difference if we've got 2 national championship wins or 3. We're never going to really get the credit we deserve.
For sure. No matter how hard we work at being the best, it doesn't matter how many national championships, like you said, we've earned. We're never going to be given the credit we deserve to be as a great college football team.
Nope, that's the crutch that we Georgia Bulldog fans bear. You know, and it's sad because we deserve that credit. 2 national championships back to back, but they'll always come back and they'll always say it's the schedule, or it was this, or it was that, or it was this player. They're never going to. And I mean, I heard another commentator say the same thing about Michigan. You know, that if Michigan wins, it'll be because of the sign stealing and things like that. But the fact of the matter remains, at the end of the day, we are never going to be mentioned now like the great, Bear Bryant or the great Nick Saban. But I think in time, in time, they will have to recognize us as one of them. History books will help us to be recognized as one of the greatest college football teams in this era right now.
I hope so.
No, I definitely agree. We'll be back right after this.
Between the Hedges is brought to you by
CB Tumblers. You ever wish you could have a custom tumbler? Well, now you can. CB Tumblers can make you any custom tumbler, from a bulldog design or a tie-dye, whichever you like. Whatever you can think of, they can make it. Go to our website and under our sponsor section, click CB Tumblers and get your custom tumbler ordered today.
Welcome back, all you wonderful Between the Hedges fans. If you are, again, still listening, definitely check out our website, and you can see all the available podcast channels that we have to offer, from Amazon Music to podcast through iHeartRadio, through Google Podcasts, to Apple Podcasts. You've got a lot of different options. Spotify, who's our main distributor, by the way, too. So definitely go and check out those podcasts. Follow whichever one you like to follow on. Listen to whichever one you like to listen to us on. I do know that Spotify is a little more user-friendly with our website link, where they let you click on it and takes you straight to our website. So if I had to push one podcast over the other, I would say Spotify is the best. So just throwing it out there. Again, not trying to start an argument or debate on podcast channels. Also want to mention, too, that you guys can send us a message through our website, and you can also call us at 706-389-0770. So if you watched the game on Saturday, I'm not sure any of us expected to see a Brock Bowers play, especially considering he was not scheduled to play. However, there was one player who embraced the Brock Bowers spirit.
Bowser.
No, I said Brock Bowers this time.
No, I know. I just wanted to mess with you.
Well, the person I'm talking about is Nazir Stackhouse. He gets his Brock Bowers moment with a game-changing interception in Georgia's win over Missouri. Stackhouse definitely had a great appreciation for Bowers after Saturday's game. He was quoted saying, "You can probably put me in the category as Brock Bowers because you know he's made for big moments like that. I don't think I could ever match the same intensity that Brock runs the ball with. I don't see how he does it."
I thought that interception was so good. Honestly, and it could not have happened to a better player and in a better time, too.
Right. Stackhouse came out of nowhere with that interception, and I really don't even think Cook saw it coming either. I don't think he could have anticipated that play.
That's why it made for such a great play. And I believe it was the play of the game, too, right?
Yeah, it definitely was the play of the game. I mean, Stackhouse has been playing football since he was 6 years old, everybody. And this was his first interception this past Saturday. Can you realize how long that you would play football and how long you keep doing what you do to try to be the best that you can be before you make I would say a career-changing play for him? At least I would call it a career-changing play. I mean, that's just a long time to play. And you never really think about it. You never really think about those kinds of players. You never really think about making that kind of play until it happens, and then bam, you got it. And I just think that we were all excited for Stackhouse on Saturday. At least I know I was.
Yeah, it definitely came at the perfect time. I know we Bulldogs, we only had 7 minutes left in the game, and I think we were clinging at that time to a 27-21 lead, so when Stackhouse got that interception, it was super exciting.
Well, Cook could have thrown that ball out of bounds, but he just lobs it up, and then poof, Stackhouse, a 6'3", 320-pound defensive lineman, just yanks it down, and it's like, nope, not today, Cook, not today.
I was really surprised he was able to spread for 40 yards, though. Your defensive tackles don't usually go that far, that fast.
No, they usually don't. But I did love what Kirby Smart said on his comment in regards to the play. He said, biggest play of the game, it was slow motion. We told him after the game he had to get his piano off his back. He said he took it out, and he just knew he was going to score. And he didn't realize how far he had to run. He was out of breath about halfway. I know that I was running with that guy, and I'll be honest with you, I don't think I could have ran 40 yards if I had tried. No way. And plus the padding, people don't realize too, that padding is not light either. That padding actually adds weight on top of you too. So I honestly was really quite impressed with how far he was able to run with that ball.
I know. And if it wasn't for that blindside block by Small Munden, he would have been able to keep the yardage on that interception too. I felt so bad for him.
Well, I still don't see how that penalty was called. I was looking into this after the game, and again, there was so much going on at that time, there's no way that I would have been able to see what I saw. But when I was watching the replay videos, Munden, he was making a hit thinking that the Missouri receiver was going to catch the pass. I don't think he really knew the interception had taken place, because when I went back and watched it again, and if you go back and watch the play, you'll see he didn't even realize that Stackhouse had gotten the ball at that moment until it was too late.
Well, there was a lot of bad calls in that game, but I think we might need to save that for another segment.
Yeah, don't get me started on that. From the offensive pass interference that we got to the blindsided call for the refs, I don't know if they were on our payroll or if they were on Missouri's payroll, but they were not on somebody's payroll Saturday because even the Missouri coach was getting mad at some of the calls they were getting. And I know Kirby was upset too, but I mean, I don't know. I can't say how easy it is because I've never been a ref before, but to be honest, sometimes I feel like when you're in situations like that and you make these calls, you really got to be careful how you do them because they could really affect the outcome of the game. I mean, if that blindsided call had not happened on Stackhouse's interception, he would have been there in that 40-yard line, and he would have been able to stay where he was at, and they possibly could have gotten a goal from that interception already. So
Didn't they say that all the flags that were called against us caused us to not be the team with the fewest flags now? Or something like that?
No, you are exactly right. We did have the record for the fewest flags called. But after this game, I can't say that no more.
That's just crazy that they would do that. I mean, I'm not saying it was intentional, but I don't know. It was definitely a game that was fun to watch, but from a ref's perspective, I don't want to be that ref today.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. So they interviewed Javon Bullard, and he said that the crowd tells you a lot. So you just hear the crowd. I'm keying what I have to key, and I just see Nax running down the sideline, and ain't no way Naz running down the sideline. Everybody else ain't got a pick, but Naz got a pick, and I'm happy for him.
Well, Bullard got him an interception as well, too, you know.
Yes, he did. This win moved us up to 9-0 on the season and 6-0 in the SEC.
So if we beat Ole Miss next weekend, doesn't that mean that we clinch the East?
Yes, it does. But getting back to Stackhouse really quick, I did want to mention that he did this past Saturday was a big deal, especially for players like Jalen Carter, Trayvon Walker, and Jordan Davis. Do you realize none of them made a play like Stackhouse did?
I think I remembered someone saying that it was the first interception by a Georgia defensive lineman, or something like that, or did I hear that wrong?
I don't know, let me check.
I can't remember who they said, but I remember that they did say someone may have gotten him before him, or he may not have been the first one, and I didn't be wrong, though.
It was John Jenkins back in 2011, so we're talking almost 12 years ago was the last time a Georgia defensive lineman got an interception.
That is a long time, but you know what? It could not have happened to a better player this time.
Well, I know Cody Schrader didn't help that he ran for 112 yards and Missouri finished the game with 151. Even Stackhouse mentioned that Missouri had a lot of success running the stretch. But despite the mistakes, they made it. Stackhouse's play did make it to play of the game, and I feel that it made up for all the defensive mistakes. But what do you think? Let us know. You can send us a message through our website, which is listed in the podcast description below. Remember, if you're using Spotify, it'll let you click on that link and take you straight to our website. Go ahead and save it to your favorites while you're there, so you will have it for the next time you guys want to, look up our podcast information.
That's right, and you can also call us at 706-389-0770.
Well, don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this.
Between the Hedges is brought to you by
Dog Swap. If you love custom frames, then you are going to love their designs. Dog Swap has all sorts of custom frames, from Sports Illustrated to photos and more. Go to our website and under our sponsors section, click Dog Swap and get your one-of-a-kind custom sports frame ordered today. Michelle's Custom Design. They make all sorts of custom sports wreaths, Christmas wreaths, and/or signs. They can customize your order to your likings. Go to our website and under our sponsors section, click on Michelle's Custom Design to see what they have to offer. It's not too late to get your Georgia Bulldogs sports wreath ordered today.
Welcome back, everyone, to Between the Hedges podcast. I'm your host, Russ, with the wonderful Lisa.
Hey, everybody.
I meant to say earlier that they did an interview with Stackhouse, about his gameplay, and he had to say this, and I thought it was actually really good what he said, and I really wanted to mention it earlier, so I'm going to mention it really quick, but it says, it's a dream come true for a defensive lineman. Obviously, I didn't score the touchdown. My legs got really heavy. It's exciting for the first couple of seconds, and then, you're on that stride, and your body says, I'm not going to get it, so you just tuck the ball into your hands and dive.
Even though he didn't make the touchdown, it was still fun watching him run.
Yeah, it was kind of like you were rooting him on the whole way. I know I felt like I was running as I was watching him go. Although I will say I've never seen you get that excited before, Lisa. You were jumping up and down really high. I think you even scared poor Tripp.
Well, I wasn't the only one jumping up and down. What about you when McConkey got that touchdown? You about knocked over the tree.
Yeah, that was pretty exciting. It was a great game, and to be honest, even though they scored as many points as they did, the information that we went over on Friday was pretty spot on. I believe it was like the score was predicted to be like 35-20, but coming out with a 30-23 score is pretty spot on for some program or computer software to predict these games.
I can't wait to see what it says about the Ole Miss game. You think we'll hear some information on Bowser?
Yeah, I think we may hear something on him. Wait, did you say Bowser?
Yeah, I think I'm going to call him that from now on.
You kill me.
Some people have to have a hobby.
Yeah, aggravating me is one of them.
Maybe. We'll have to see.
I guess I will. Well, if you all haven't had a chance to check out our other podcast episodes, remember you can go back and listen to them all on the podcast channel of your choice.
Also, don't forget to share these podcasts with all your Between the Hedges fans.
You could even share them with the non-Between the Hedges fans. Maybe they will learn something about college football after all.
Right? It is so hard to believe that we only have 3 more games for the rest of the season.
I know it's sad to think about it. Time is surely flying by.
Have you given much thought about what you're going to do after the college football season is over with the podcast?
I have been giving it some thought, and I feel that we might be able to keep up the podcast, with the news and information about the Georgia Bulldogs during the off-season, with updates on players and stuff.
Well, what if we don't get enough information about them during the off-season?
I have been thinking about another idea.
Oh, can you tell us?
Yeah, well, did you know that there are currently 51 NFL players playing that were former Georgia alumni?
Wow, 51? Really?
Yeah, to be honest, I was a bit shocked as well. In fact, I thought that the Steelers were known for getting a lot of the Bulldogs players, but the census shows recently that it's been the Eagles that get a lot of our players.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so if we can't keep Between the Hedges podcast going during the off season, we may just roll out that other podcast that I was thinking about doing. I've been working on the name for it.
What name were you thinking?
Dogs in NFL, and the N is with the letter N.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, we could discuss their stats, the contracts, maybe their health, transfers, who knows. Not sure if it'll be a Monday through Friday thing yet, but we'll have to see how it goes.
Well, I know I speak for myself, and I feel Gary feels the same way, that whatever you decide to do, we're here for you. We're here to help you in any way we can, whether it's Between the Hedges or this new podcast, Dogs in the NFL. We're here for you.
Yes, what she said.
Well, thank you, too. I really do appreciate that. You guys are a big help to the podcast, and I really do appreciate all your hard work on everything that you two do. I mean, I would not be able to do this podcast without you two, so.
Well, we believe that you are really talented, Russ, and we know that you have a lot of potential to make this podcast go. We wouldn't be following you. We wouldn't be doing this if we didn't believe in you.
Well, thank you, Lisa. I mean, after all, you know I bleed red, white, and black.
I didn't know that.
Well, thank you again for everyone listening to this podcast. If you're a new listener or you're a loyal listener, we do appreciate it. Don't forget to leave any comments about the show. You can do that on our website. Remember, the information is in the podcast description below. You can call us at 706-389-0770.
Don't forget to come back here tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. to listen to us again on Between the Hedges.
From all of us here at Between the Hedges,
Go Dogs!